Alright, this recording is going to be, we're going over the fall PMAs, we're going over the invoices, and one of my main things when I ask you about one of the line items on your invoice, I'm asking you through those fall PMA videos, I'm asking you when I pull something up like vent pipe, I want that to trigger a bunch of things that you need to go look for, like blower motor. Well, blower motor could say noisy or loose bearings in it, but that's not all I want you to go look at. I actually want you to go look at the CFM of that blower motor. I want to know whether it's noisy. I want to know what tonnage that blower motor is set at. In the air conditioning mode, even though you're doing a heater check. So if the blower motor is set on high speed, which is normally the case for air conditioning, do you have a 3-ton air conditioning system but a 4-ton blower motor for that furnace? Will it hold 1600 CFMs of airflow? So when it says blower motor on there, these have got to trigger so many different things for you to go look at, not just noisy, okay? All these extra little things that when you watch these videos, this is what it's supposed to bring up to you. So we're in the process of this class and we're going to continue, and there you go. Alright, so the one that we just went over was for gauge, and you said again gauge?
The ignition system, is it, if it's a spark igniter, or is it a pilot, or a hot surface ignition system?
Yep.
Is it clean? Is it actually igniting the gas? Is it facing the correct way to throw those sparks?
Yep.
Or is it trying to spark multiple times and then nothing happening? Is it sparking? It sounds like it comes on and then cuts back out. And is it going into lockout?
What if you have a millivolt gas valve with a pilot? What type of ignition system are you now looking for?
Millivolt gas system with a pilot would be
It's a standing pilot. Okay, a standing pilot heats up a millivolt pilot generator, and a pilot generator produces millivolts. The millivolts get sent to your gas valve. So there's 3 terminals on your gas valve. So this will be on a floor furnace and it'll be on a wall heater. So 2 of those terminals, I'll call it left and middle, the pilot generator is heating up and creating millivolts. So when you depress the gas valve in order to light your pilot, to allow that pilot to light, when you generate the millivolts, it holds that depression down. Then when you let it up, the pilot stays lit because you have millivolts holding it down. Then from there, you have 2 thermostat wires, one from the middle and one going to the right. Those 2 wires go to your thermostat on the wall. When you connect those by turning your heater on and raising the thermostat, it then sends voltage from the middle one over to the right side, which therefore says energize gas valve. The gas valve energizes. So part of your ignition system in this case is a standing pilot. What do you need to look at on a standing pilot? Especially on a floor furnace or a wall furnace, you need to look at the pilot and see if it has got a lazy flame on it, a red tip on it. Okay, and the flame will literally come up like this, as opposed to shooting out like this, like on a 45-degree angle. On a floor furnace, guys, you literally got to look at that flame and how did they mount it. And I've seen some stupid things. I've seen all kinds of stuff you can think of that somebody rigged together, stuck it on something, balanced it on something to where it's not mounted properly. On a standing pilot, on a millivolt gas valve underneath the house, they have a left flame, right flame, center flame, and it all depends on the mount and where you want that flame shooting at, okay? So these things are all important with that ignition system. The ignition system being a spark igniter. I've seen the spark, instead of going across where it's supposed to, it shoots out all over the place, and it's not igniting the flame, okay? So you have to check your ground wire a lot of times with spark igniters, okay? If your polarity is reversed on your gas furnace, it may not sense that there's a flame there. The old gas furnaces, the old, I think it was an RGPE furnaces, had the flame sensor and the ignition system, which was a glow coil. They were all in one. So the glow coil had a white coating on it, so the glow coil would light the gas furnace, and it would also give a negative, a ground basically back to sense that there was a flame there. Well, the flame rectification started to, over the years, kind of get weak, I'll call it, and you weren't getting that current back for the ground, so eventually they had to end up putting a ground wire, which was a flame sensing rod, and they had to change the entire circuit board to where you had a glow coil and a flame sensing rod on the old Rude furnaces, and I'm talking 20 years ago, okay? So there's a lot of history with spark ignition, pilots, how all this stuff works. So don't be afraid if you're brand new at doing a PMA and you go to a wall furnace. Damn, I ain't never done a wall furnace before. Do you know how to light a pilot? I'm going to explain how to light a pilot. You go over to the actual gas valve. You push down on the gas valve, and there's one position that it will go all the way down. And when it does, it's going to allow gas out of the little silver tube that goes to the pilot. At that point, you put your flame where the pilot would be at, and your pilot would ignite. If you let your finger back off the gas valve, it will go back out. Push it back down again, your gas will come out, you light it again. Now you know you are in the pilot position. Once your pilot ignites, you could have a thermocouple, which is an old, like a gas water heater. Okay, we still have a thermocouple today. A pilot generator, like on a floor furnace or a wall furnace. You have to hold that pilot down for about 30 seconds for the pilot generator or thermocouple to get hot. Once it gets hot, it holds it down for you, so when you let your finger off of it, it comes back up all the way. When it comes back up all the way, turn it into the on position. At that point in time, make sure your thermostat is off and not in the on position, so when you turn your gas valve on, it doesn't ignite right away. Get away from it, okay? Then turn your heater in the on position, and then watch your gas shoot out, okay? And then know how much gas is shooting out, because what happens if the gas does not ignite when you turn that gas valve on and you have gas shooting out of it and your face is right there? See why I say turn it on, but make sure your thermostat is not in the on position? What I just said there, and you're laying down on a wall furnace and you're trying to get all this stuff right, well, you better get your face below the flame. Because when the burner shoots out and it just goes, and if it went 1, 2, 3, you're fixing to have a boom in your face. Get away from it, then go to your thermostat and turn your thermostat on. Okay? This is important. Alright? Same thing with a gas furnace in the attic. I just got finished going over with y'all, but I'll do this for video's sake. When you get to a heater, when you walk into the house, you are supposed to know, or you will get used to knowing how fast it ignites. What is the sound of the gas when it ignites? Do you have the correct gas pressure when it ignites? Is your flame actually over the burners themselves? If it's got a spark ignition to it, when you turn your thermostat on, if somebody's sitting there talking to you, tell them hush for just a second. You want to turn that gas on. You're going to hear click, 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 click. Gas valve is going to energize. When the gas valve energizes, it could be the type where the gas goes over the spark ignition, so you're getting full 3.5-inch water column pressure over it. So you would hear all of the gas flames come out and ignite, or it could be an 80% shut off. So the spark igniter is only going to light the pilot. Once the pilot lights, it heats up a flame sensor. The flame sensor says, okay, my pilot is lit. Now it sends voltage back and says, okay, pilot's lit. Then the gas valve is energized, and all this is within several seconds, okay? Then you will say click, click, click. You hear that little bit, pilot lights, you're waiting, gas ignites, okay? Sometimes when you click it on, if you have a standing pilot and you have not been in the attic yet and you turn it on and you don't hear turning on the thermostat and all of a sudden you don't hear an induced draft motor come on, you don't hear click, 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 click. All you hear is turn it on, you hear click. That's a standing pilot. Standing pilot means all you heard was the gas valve energized. There's no induced draft motor, there's no spark ignition, there's no nothing, okay? Some of the old Duquesne furnaces would have a spark igniter with a natural draft furnace, so you will hear click, 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 click. So you'll hear the click, the pilot, then the ignition, okay? You gotta remember these things, guys, because as you're sitting there with your finger on the trigger, which is your thermostat, to turn it off or turn it back on, okay, or leave it run. So if you go to that thermostat and you turn it on, it's quiet. You hear click, 1, 2, 3. You have not heard anything ignite. Turn that bitch off, because probably another second or two, you're fixing to hear whoosh, and it blows up inside that chamber. Okay? That could be the case. So another good thing to do as you walk in the house, have you ran your heater yet? No, I don't touch that thing. That thing just, it makes all kinds of noise when it comes on. So ask the customer the questions. You know, I mean, sometimes before you even get started, have you had any problems with it? Nope. Is it fairly new? Oh, you know, you're just introducing yourself at that point in time. Ask those questions so that kind of when you go turn it on, you'll know what to expect when you're fixing to turn. Oh, that heater's old. I'm scared of that thing. You don't know if you're fixing to be dealing with a standing pilot, an old Duquesne furnace spark igniter. If you see an old furnace called a consolidated furnace, tell them they need a new furnace. Those old consolidated furnaces, almost every single one of them you go to is going to have cracks in the chambers. Those consolidated furnaces. You have a sticker on it that says consolidated. Okay? On the little white tags it says consolidated. If you run across one, they just need a new furnace. Because they outlawed those furnaces. They banned them way back. So if somebody's still got one, I'm surprised they're alive. Okay? So all these little things for spark igniter means that when you see the word spark igniter on here, well, this is what I'm asking you to go look for. This is the sounds that I'm asking you to think about when it says spark ignition or when it says ignition system. Is it spark ignition? Is it a glow coil? So can you hear a glow coil ignite? Nope. So here's what I'm listening for with a glow coil. Turn on the heater. Induced draft motor's running because a glow coil's got an induced draft motor. I'm not hearing click, 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 but the induced draft motor's running. Okay? Glow coil ignites. You can't hear it ignite. Induced draft motor comes on. This is how long it takes. Induced draft motor comes on. Negative pressure switch kicks in. As soon as it kicks in, voltage is applied to the glow coil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That glow coil is lit up at this point in time. Okay, glow coil is just like a big heating element sitting there in front of it.